Hello, this is my first attempt at a video where I'm painting with watercolours or anything else. I usually just post photography and videos of the birds, but the reason for the photography is to get subject matter for my paintings. In this video I'm going to paint this little superb fairy wren. I thought it's about time I started showing you some of my paintings. I've been painting or drawing on and off since I can't remember when. I had oil painting lessons in the mid-1960s. I've had tuition in various mediums over the years, the private artists or a little while at art college, a few years with the Flying Art School in its original format, and then I've done several years with the Brisbane Institute of Art and also at the Studio West End, where I learnt mostly etching. At the Brisbane Institute of Art, I did some oil painting and lots of live drawing. I took several years away from painting to raise 2 children on my own and work full time. But now I'm retired, so I decided my retirement is going to be devoted to my art, plus a bit of photography, and I'd like to try to do a bit of travel as well if I can manage it, if my health continues to hold up. I've had a few health issues over the past 10 years, but all seems to be reasonably good at the moment. Anyway, let's have a look at this swatching that's going on. I decided to select a few colours that I thought might be useful when painting this little bird, and I swatched them all. Since I've been buying lots of new watercolours recently, I needed to have a look at them to see what they would be like. I suppose this is some sort of an unboxing video as well, because I haven't done one of them yet. The first 4 colours are Daniel Smith on the top row, the Sodalite Genuine, Blue Apatite Genuine, Sepia, PB7 and PBK9, Tiger's Eye Genuine, and at the very end is Shimke Horadam Lamp Black, which is PBK6. On the next row we've got 2 more Daniel Smiths, Lunar Earth, which is PBR11, and Raw Sienna, which is PBR7. And then there's a Winsor & Newton's beautiful Winsor Orange Red shade with pigment P07. It's so sad to see the state of this paintbrush. It's one of my old Kolinsky sable brushes. I had 3 of them. They've all been chewed by the insects. I had them put away for about 8 or 9 years when I wasn't able to do any artwork, and now I've had to go and buy all new brushes. None of the new brushes are animal hair, so they shouldn't get eaten. Daniel Smith's Pearl Scarlet, pigment PR255, and Daniel Smith's Buff Titanium, pigment PW6.11. On the 3rd row, bottom row, is Daniel Smith's Nickel Titanite Yellow, PY53. That had a lot of gum arabic or something squirting out of the tube when I opened it. Was brand new, first time opened. Luckily I had some toothpicks handy and was able to stir it all together. The next one was Winsor & Newton Green Gold, PY129. I think that's the new version of Green Gold. I do also have the old one from years ago. I bought it over 10 years ago. It's in my box of old paints. I'll get it out one day. And then there is Winsor & Newton Hooker's Green, which is a mixture of 2 pigments, PY110 and PG36. Next is Winsor & Newton Permanent Sap Green, PG49. And finally, Core Viridian, PG18. I think that's the real Viridian, I'm not sure. And here is a look at the finished swatching chart, where you can actually see the entire bottom row. One of the new art supplies I recently purchased was a watercolour sketchbook. It was one of the Bohong books. And before I paint the little bird, I'd like to see what happens when I mix the colours together that I've just swatched. Now, I didn't record me doing all that mixing. It took me several days to do. I just did it in small intervals whenever I had the time. I ended up with 2-page spreads showing the results of when I've mixed each of the colours I've just swatched with each of the other colours. And I'll just show you now. This is the result of that swatching. I won't go through it all very carefully. There are some of those dark colours that are going to be perfect for the tail of the little bird, little female superb fairy wren. I don't think I would be using any of the colours straight out of the tube, but I might. In the end, I didn't use very many of these colours when I actually painted the little bird. On the final page, I just did the greens. You can see the legs of the tripod that are holding up my light and camera. That's the best I can do for the moment. I'm sure one day I will get a better setup. Now here is the second new sketchbook, which is technically speaking not new. I made it about or more than 10 years ago, and it is full of cotton, Fabriano, Arch and Saunders. I think they're mostly cold pressed, but the Saunders, which is towards the back of the book, we'll get to at some stage, I hope. Looks like it could be hot pressed. We'll see. Anyway, this is what we're going to do the little bird in. I'm going to be using quite a small paintbrush because she's quite small. Even so, she's still bigger than she would be in real life. And you can see they're the colours that I was planning to use, but I used less than what you see there when I did the actual painting. I was a bit worried that this watercolour paper might have broken down a bit considering it's so old, but for these 2 pages that I've used here, it was good. Let's start painting. First of all, we'll make her nice and wet. On her tail, top of her head and her wings, I will do a very light layer of Tiger's Eye Genuine. I ended up doing a voiceover of this because the original recording of my voice sounded very tinny from the way the little camera recorded, so I thought it'd be better to make it all sound the same. Then I'll use some Pyrrole Orange for her legs, just an initial layer just to mark out where her legs are. It'll dry and we'll do more layers. I get quite loose, although she does come out looking realistic. I'm wetting the drawing first before I apply the paint, so I get a flowing watercolour. I'm hoping that I improve technically as I get more practiced, but this is a beginning. I've sped this up because otherwise the video would have taken you days to watch all the way through. Not quite days, but it would have been an hour or so long. And that's way too long to watch somebody fiddle around with a paintbrush. The area around her eyes and her beak will be Pyrrole Scarlet mixed with some Tiger's Eye Genuine. And I could have put something else in there as well, but that's the basic mixture. I had to have several sittings. I wanted to make sure that the paint dried fully between sessions. I'm having a terrible time recording the voiceover. I've ended up having to record it on a different file and then go into that file and drag all the voice recordings and put them onto the actual video that I'm going to load to YouTube, because I can't record any voice on that original video. I've wasted about 2 or 3 days struggling. I'll use some Blue Apatite Genuine to mark out the shadows on her breast and under her tummy. After I started using acrylics, I had a period of about 5 years where I sold everything I did. I never had any work at home to show people. They just used to see other people's paintings and come and ask me to do something for them. I got quite burnt out, but I wasn't earning very much because I wasn't charging enough for the paintings. And I realised after being left with some small children to raise on my own that I needed to earn a better income. So I dropped out of the art and went to university and got some skills that would help me to earn an income. And basically, between working full-time and raising those children, I was worn out and I wasn't able to keep up with the painting. And then about 15 years ago, I started going to art classes and refreshing my oil painting skills. I used a very thin wash of buff titanium now over the top of the blue apatite genuine and the white paper that I'd left that didn't put the blue apatite genuine on. So she's got her breast coloured just how she likes it. A pale cream with shadows. I didn't do anything with water. I did do some watercolour, but it was mixed media work. I love doing mixed media. I'll probably do some mixed media videos at some point. I use a lot of different types of paints with glitter and buttons and gluing things on, and they look very realistic. I put lots of detail into them, but not photographically realistic. I'm doing this little bird quite loosely. I don't want to get into making it look very overworked. I'll probably gradually add more and more detail as I get more used to using the watercolour. And I've bought way more different colours than I ever will possibly need, so I'll be experimenting with colours. I'll be using duochrome and iridescent and all sorts of colours in future paintings. When I was working on the watercolours and gouache mixed media work all those years ago, about a bit over 10 years ago, they used to call me the glitter queen. I had glitter into everything. I used to paint glitter on. I'd buy lots of different coloured glitters and mix them together in acrylic medium and just paint it on like it was paint. Several of us had a joint art exhibition and I sold quite a few of my glitter paintings from that time. At the moment, I'm stuck at home most of the time because my son needs to use my car to get to work. And he has ordered a new car, but it's taking months to arrive. We thought it was going to be here next month, but looks like it won't be coming until early next year now. I'm not very happy about that, but I'm just doing the best I can. I'll just keep painting and drawing at home for now. Now I'll put the darks in. On her tail, I used a mixture with the tiger's eye and sepia and a bit of blue apatite genuine. I used the same colours on her head and wings, just in varying amounts and strengths. And then I included some Pyrrole Scarlet into the colours that I put around her eyes and on her beak. She had more Pyrrole Scarlet on the beak than around her eyes. At the very end of this video, I've added one screen with showing two pictures of two of my glitter paintings from when I was last doing watercolours. I spent hours on each of these, a couple of days' work in each one, I think, so they can't really be compared with what I've done here with the little fairy wren. The size of the paintings was a quarter of a large sheet of watercolour paper. That means they were approximately A4 size. The paintbrush I was using for this painting is a Princeton Aqua Elite. I can't remember the size. I've got several small brushes of different sizes of the Princeton Aqua Elite, and I'm quite enjoying them. I wasn't happy with the blackness of the Shimki lamp black that I wanted to use, that I'd swatched earlier, and I wanted to use that for her eye. So I raided my box of paints from over 10 years ago and found a Winsor & Newton Mars Black BK11 and used that for her eye. It still wasn't dark enough, but it seemed better than I thought the lamp black might have been. I would have used some other medium to make her eye a little bit blacker, but I had already decided I wanted to keep this little painting a pure transparent watercolour painting. I probably should have adjusted the darkness of her tail and other feathers so the black of her eye was darker than any other part of her. It is still a little darker, I think, but not enough. I hope you've enjoyed the video. There's still more to go, but there's things I want to say at the end, so I thought I'd say all of this here now. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd appreciate a like if you have enjoyed it. That'll help the channel with YouTube. And if you think you might like to see future videos of mine with my painting or just my birds, then it might be a good idea if you were to subscribe. And I have to thank greatly everybody who has already subscribed, and this is a great help with the growth of the channel. It lets YouTube know that it's an enjoyable channel and they show it to more people. I'd love also to see you comment on the video too. But this isn't the end of the video. I've got more to say towards the end. There's some interesting things coming up. I decided not to put the green background in. I just leave her on a white background. Might try the background when I do the little male later on. What I did do with this painting though, when I finished, I scanned her in to my computer and I used software to cut her out so she had no background at all. It was just a little bird on the branch. And I loaded her to my Redbubble shop, and she's now available on about 100 different products. If anybody's interested in having a look, I will put a link in the description to the shop and possibly to her as well. I think YouTube are changing their rules about links, so I might not be able to have a link to her directly. Next I'll show you a bit of video with a little male and a little female superb fairy wrens fluttering around in a bush. The courting couple. And then she flies off. She's not sure what to do next. Let's see what happens. I think I'll paint him in my next video, but I might use the photo I've showed you here. I've got lots of other photos of male fairy wrens in their blue breeding plumage. These are the two paintings that I did a few years ago with the glitter. The one on the left has got a large rhinestone stuck in the sky, and the glitter used there includes some confetti with the stars, and the one on the right has just got lots of glitter mixed together in the blue background as well as on her wings. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.